billboard for the Valley Girl show. What am I doing? I am advertising. You know who could really help you with your advertising? Adstruc. I'm about to interview John Laramie of Adstruc. I am so excited. Let's talk business. Based in New York City, Adstruc is a technology platform for the outdoor advertising industry ranging from billboards in Kansas to Times Square. John Laramie is the founder and CEO of Adstruc. He was featured in Business Week's Best Young Tech Entrepreneurs, and he loves playing ping pong. Well, here we are with John Laramie of Adstruc. So how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So I'm so excited to have you here because you're
Likewise.
doing really, amazing things because you're simplifying an industry that I just really needed simplification, if you will. So tell me a little about Adstruc. What is it?
So we're a technology platform for the outdoor advertising industry. And so what that means is that we make it simple for advertisers or agencies or local brands to buy outdoor advertising across the entire US. And so the market is very fragmented with a lot of individual owners and then some big guys, and the data and the process lives offline. And so we've created a platform that buyers are able to come in and access all that data and actually efficiently purchase directly through the site.
Now, can you define outdoor advertising for our viewers and for me?
Especially here in New York, we're almost too familiar with it, right?
Right.
But it's billboards, it's ads in subways and taxi cabs, it's the wallscapes, it's any sort of advertisement that's out of home.
Okay. And because I heard this story that you were like bicycling around when you were starting the company. Yep. So tell me about that.
So I started my own agency on the side, and the first two clients wanted to do outdoor advertising. I had no idea how to do it, and so the first one wanted to buy around Bed Bath & Beyond's in the city, and so I literally just got on my bike and rode around the city and wrote down the names of companies, called them all individually, spoke to them.
Because you wrote down the phone numbers and names on billboards,
they don't even have phone numbers, they just have the logo, right? So then you have to Google that, and then you're I think I was on the corner of 13th and 5th, and it was on the east side, and it's a disaster.
Because I feel like that's true. If you're any company and you know the placement you want, but how do you find that placement? How do you find that billboard?
Yeah, it's how do you find it, but then there's a breakdown in the education of why it's valuable as an advertising medium, right? And so I think a local business would be God, it'd be great to have this big billboard, but that's kind of scary. What am I going to put on it? How do I get it? How much am I supposed to pay? Am I getting ripped off? And so we think a lot about how we can educate the buyers about the process, how it works and the value of it, and then simplify that through a platform that helps you buy it.
And how do you do that? How do you educate them?
We do a lot on our blog. We do a lot of conversations and kind of webinars about the assets, the data points, how everything works. And so it's fun to get local businesses involved that typically have shied away from outdoor.
So you've created a whole community around this too, just to educate people and everything.
Yeah.
What does it cost to do, I'm sure it varies, but what does it cost to put your company on a big billboard somewhere?
Yeah, so let's use 101 for example.
Okay.
Boards on that are around $10,000, $12,000 to $30,000 a month.
Oh my gosh.
So for 4 weeks, but then in New York and Times Square, they're at minimum about $150,000.
Oh my gosh. But then you go, say, Minnesota or something like that.
Oh my God, you could buy a board for $3,000 for a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredibly cheap.
So it really ranges, and you just have to think about where you're putting this thing.
Right, and so understanding where your audience is that you're trying to advertise to, right, and then finding the right location that delivers on that those are the important steps to outdoor.
When you started this company, you started it because you saw a need, right? So what were you doing before?
I was working in a licensing agency, and so we were taking corporate brands like Ford, for example.
Okay.
And we would license out trademarks of Ford, like Mustang or the F-150, to companies like Fisher-Price or Mattel that make the ride-ons or the RC radio-controlled vehicles and stuff like that, and T-shirts. So that's what I was doing before, and it was fun. It was how I got into New York, and it was the job that moved me here. But it was time for something new and on my own.
Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, ever since I was, it's the classic. I had lemonade stands, I cut grass.
Oh, me too. I love lemonade stands. Mine were pink, obviously.
The 25-cent margin wasn't very good. It didn't scale well.
Okay, so are you a big hunter?
I am. I don't talk about it very publicly in New York because it's not it's definitely frowned upon. But yeah, growing up in Michigan, I just enjoy hunting. It's actually a relaxing experience. You get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, it's dark out, you walk through the woods in the dark and you get settled in your blind and then the sun comes up and you get to hunt. It's fun.
I have a question, which is, how is it relaxing if you're going? I have nothing against hunting. I eat meat. I am very, you know, nothing at all. But I don't think I'd find it relaxing. What kind of animals are in Michigan?
So it's just primarily deer hunting.
Deer hunting. Yeah. Are there bears there?
Yeah, there's some.
Well, so doesn't
those
that just,
are a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, doesn't that scare the crap out of you? You're like,
you're
oh yeah, this is so relaxing walking in the dark. There could be a giant bear somewhere.
There's been moments where you're like walking through the woods and you have a rifle on you and yet you're still nervous about something coming and getting you and you're like, wait a second.
You're like, I have a rifle, but bears are bigger.
Yeah.
That's what I would be thinking. I have a rifle, but bears are bigger, and I might not be able to fire the rifle correctly.
Yeah, those are some things that kind of run through your head at 5 in the morning. But
I have a question because we don't film out here a lot in New York. So what do you kind of think the tech scene is like out here?
I think it's getting a lot better. There's a very good concentration of startups actually just by location, right? So there's a bunch of companies all within the same building or within a few blocks of each other, so that helps. The New York tech community, I think, is the largest tech meetup, so that's just good for promoting the companies.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I think there's some like 15 or 20,000 members.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So that's like our support, but of course it creates the whole Silicon Valley versus Silicon Alley war, which is just
I love the Silicon Alley, and everyone's like, I'm in LA a lot, and they're like, they call it Silicon Beach. It just cracks me up.
For different reasons than tech, but yes.
But it's so funny. But I feel like it's booming out here. I mean, there's some great companies around. And what are some of the companies that you see around the kind of startup arena?
Some friends that have come out of tech stars like Shelby TV, which is a great one.
Oh, yeah.
Tutor Spree, which is a good one as well.
Okay.
Those are a few that just come to mind quickly. But it's fun to see different types of companies starting in New York in different areas and industries and kind of tracking their progress, because it's just good to, as entrepreneurs, like everyone has this drive and competitive set, but I think if you bring it back at the end of the day of starting a company and being passionate about solving a problem, then you're generally supportive of the other companies in the space.
You've had quite some entrepreneurial experience. If you were going to give, one tip to a young entrepreneur starting out, what would you say?
I think the hardest thing about starting a company is that there's just so much to do, right? And so for me and for our team and everything, I think the most important thing for an entrepreneur is setting achievable goals on a week-to-week basis.
Okay.
Right? If you can tick those things off each week, then you're setting the bigger vision about what you're going after, and you're not losing sight of that vision. But I think if you have this big vision and you don't start to write things down that need to get done to get there, then you're just going to get lost.
There's something about crossing things off a list, too. You're and you actually can document your progress.
Right. I wrote 25 things today, this morning, that need to get done, and it's just great to just be crossing them off each individually.
Mix, Valley Girl Show, check. I know, it really does. That's a really good piece of advice, because I think it's one of those things that people don't think of as but it's a great thing to do every single day. Yeah, totally.
And then the work to-do list is this long, and then the John Laramie personal to-do list is this long, and those never get done.
It never gets done. Laundry, nope. Yeah, totally.
Never.
I think that's pretty standard. I mean, yeah, definitely. I know it's never the personal things, no, but that means you're all in. That means you're all in. Adstruc is it. I'm like the Valley Girl.
I'm like John Laramie from Adstruc.
Well, that was fun. And now it's time for your DITS moment. I've done archery before. Are there any archery? Do you really shoot them with a bow and arrow?
Yeah.